Hey guys, Sully Sports Cards back. Making a quick video for you guys. It's going to be my most recent pickup, which came from the this past weekend's 2023 Greater Boston Sports Card Show in Wilmington, Massachusetts. Awesome show. I grew up in Wilmington, so it was right in my backyard. Filled with vintage, filled with vintage dealers, auction houses, memorabilia. It's such a cool show. I spent like a day and a half there, just walking around, talking to people, some amazing people I met. Such a great time. Met some dealers I knew. They said the show went fairly well for them. They bought more than they sold, but they held firm in their prices and didn't seem like the sky was falling. But that's just from what I gathered from the show. But anyways, I'm gonna show you my pickup, and then also too, I'm gonna show you my small collection of pre-war stuff. It's not the most crazy amount of things. Some of these you've seen in my collection video, which is my first one. Wasn't my best video, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it was my first video, and it was basically just a my collection video. This is gonna be just focusing on my pre-war stuff. Again, talking maybe 10 cards, but I kind of have been consolidating. So there's that. So anyways, my first card that I'm gonna show you guys is my one pickup from the show. I had traded my T206 Ty Cobb bat off shoulder. It was an SGC 1. It had some paper loss in the back, but it presented super well. I traded that along with just some 50s cards, along with some cash, to get my first Babe Ruth card, and it just so happens to be a Sport Kings 1933 Babe Ruth card. I was drawn to this card. I was walked around the show a bunch of times. I was drawn to this card specifically. The clarity of the image, the color was fantastic. Again, with these small borders for this set, I feel like centering is not too crazy of a draw. Just a card with small borders kind of detracts from the fact that it's semi-off-centered. But a Babe Ruth nonetheless, a great card. Super happy to own it. You can see there's like staining in the back of some sort. This was clearly laying in a pile or a stack for a long time. You can see the outline of another card there, kind of in the back, but otherwise it is such a clean back. No paper loss in the back. You can see up front here, the corners look okay. They're not like rounded by any means, but they're not perfect. This is a card from 1933. And it's got a slight crease right there, along with like a minor little bit of paper loss up there too. So it's, it's a beat up copy. It's a SGC 2. But it just presents super well. And I just said to myself, listen, this might be one of the only few times I'm able to acquire a Ruth. And the guy was really interested in my T206 Cub. If you guys hadn't seen that card, it's in my previous videos. Tough seeing that card go, but to get, a really solid Ruth like this, I just was so ecstatic. Couldn't believe the guy was, willing to part for it. And I really felt like I got a decent deal on it. Just an amazing card, amazing set. Again, it doesn't show his logo, the Yankees logo, which kind of stinks. It takes away from the fact that it's not like a 33 Gaudi where you get pinstripes and logos and hats. But, this is still a good Ruth card. I think it's one that I never thought I'd own, so I'm ecstatic to own. And, yeah, just super happy with that one. So that's going to be my start to my pre-war cards. This is going to be in no particular order, so I'll try to display these up as I go. So, again, this is going to be in no particular order. Small stack, but you guys have seen probably some of these, but I'll start off with kind of an oddball one. I don't know if I've shown this. I just think this card presents super well. This is Allen and Ginter, 1888 or 1887. I don't know what the N28 set sits at date-wise, but it's a Dr. W.F. Carver rifle shooter, graded a PSA 4.5. Like, talk about something out of the 19th century. I mean, that is like the outfit, the hat, the guns, the crossed guns. Really a great card. This is the only Allen and Ginter card I believe I own. I might own one more, but it's nothing too crazy. But it just, this card looks like it was from the 1800s. He looks like he was from the 1800s. It's just super cool. And it's a 4.5, which honestly, I love the fact that the card's not perfect. It shows its age. It really does. It's a really, really sweet card. Clarity's great, centering's decent. It's not really something I pay attention to, centering on a card like that, but just beat, but beautiful. You can see the staining in the back. Stuff like that is cool to me. So I've owned that card for a bit. I don't plan on getting rid of it. I've never had the reason to. I just like to look at it every so often. All right, so this is another one of my cards. I've shown this before too. This is my T205 Cub, PSA 3 with a Piedmont back, if people still care about T205 backs. I'm not sure if they do. I don't believe it's that big of a deal when it comes to the hobby, and I don't even think they mark it on any sort of slab, SGC included. But anyways, I picked this up last year, a couple years ago, actually, 2 years ago at that same show, the Greater Boston show. Was one of my other big pickups. The color on this is like a fantastic color. Registration's pretty good for a card from this set. The registration had been tough. You can see it's a little like you can see it's where it was printed. You can see like an overlay of the other color, and his face is a little fuzzy, but not entirely bad. So, yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed this card. I had thought about kind of trading it and moving up into something else, but I've wanted this card for so long, and I think I'll keep it for a bit. So, really cool card there. I'm going to move Carver for Cub here. My next one is a card that I got, I believe, at that same show. This is where I get a lot of my vintage pickups. Is a E95 Eddie Plank. I had been looking for this card for a while. Love the look of it, love the color, and it's the same pose as his T206 card, which was either a malfunction at the factory, I believe, or I would even call it a short print because there was some sort of issue with the printing of it. There's only a handful of these in existence in the T206 set. In the E95 set, there's still some out there, obviously, but just a beautiful card. This was in a GAI holder. It was a GAI 4. I broke it out of the slab because I'm like, this card looks great. Sent it to SGC, and it came back a 4, which I was just astonished by. So you can see it's got a little stain up here, but the clarity, the color is great. Centering's really good too. Such a clean card, and this is a cool set. If you guys don't know much about the E95 set, the Wagner is nice. My favorite card in the set is the Cobb. He has this purple background. He's holding the bat. Look that card up. Look up the set. The set's a really nice set, but really cool card. Happy to own that Plank there. I'll get rid of Ruth. I'd like to get more from the E95 set. It's just this pre-war stuff is crazy money. So another card I think I've shown is my T206 Cy Young card. Cy Young Portrait with a Piedmont back. I bought this card because, again, I thought the clarity and the color were like outstanding. And this is one of the cards that I've owned for quite a while. I sent it out to get reholdered years ago. Centering's not fantastic, but you can see there's creasing, but honestly, it doesn't take away from how nice this card looks. Such a deep purple, and sometimes the green, I'm sorry. Sometimes the green is faded into a very light color, but this like must have been stored away for quite a bit because it looked like it hadn't seen sun or anything like that. So really cool card. Deep colors in the back too, with a little cigarette burn or something like that. So really love that card. I've always loved this card. Like I've forever. I've always dreamed about having that card. So next one, this one just makes the cut. I believe pre-war, there's a couple definitions of what pre-war cards are. Obviously, you can talk about when World War II began and ended, but 39 fits right, I believe, at the limit of what you'd call pre-war. This is I showed this card before, 1939 play ball Joe DiMaggio, PSA 6, and this is the card that I gawked over the centering because I had looked at it up and down, left to right, front to back. It's 50-50. So such a clean card, cool card. Back centering is not the case, but that's not something I focus too much on. Unless it's totally bad. But yeah, this is just a beautiful card in my eyes, and super happy to own it. The corners aren't super sharp, but again, it got a 6, so clearly it had something going for it, and just an amazing image of Joe DiMaggio. So happy to own that one too. I'll put this here. This is another card here shown before. My T206 Cobb Charles Bray collection. Again, Shriners Auditorium pickup from the same show. Creased up clearly, but great clarity, great color. Great everything, really. Centering is great too. Only flaw really is the major creasing across the face, but really cool card to have from an actual collection with some sort of provenance behind it, who the owner of this Cobb was, and it's a pretty popular card in the hobby, so to own one that has some history, really cool to me. I got 2 cards left, I believe. 1, 2, yeah, 2 cards left. This is one I picked up. This is a Mayo cut plug card. Found this at a card shop. Oldest card in my collection. Actually, next to the Allen and Ginter card, but oldest baseball card in my collection. So really cool card. Bobby Lowe. I believe he was the first player to hit 4 home runs in a game. I think that was his claim to fame, but cool Boston going across his jersey. So really cool card to own. Piece of history there. I love that set. And my final card, you guys have all seen. My favorite card in my collection is my E90-1 Cy Young Boston back. I believe he has the Cleveland one as well. But this one's just my favorite. This is the same image from the E107 set, but this is a few years after that set came out. But such a beautiful card. That was my national pickup in Atlantic City in 2022. Just a sweet card. I mean, it's got a crease kind of in this bottom right corner, but again, I've shown this before. You could see the hash marks from where they were printing this thing to line it up. But the color, you can even see a deep red around his head with the color. It's just a blazer in my eyes. And I bought it for a price at the time that I was scared to pay, but now I'm happy that I paid for it because I just don't regret it. So, cool card. This isn't necessarily bleed through. I think the dealer told me this is when they stacked the sheets when they were printing these E90 cards. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But yeah, so that's my last card in my pickup. So yeah, really, I said my 2 favorite cards in my collection, I would say at the moment, this changes day to day because I just stare at them too often, is probably this E90 and this Sport King Ruth. So figured I'd share it. Again, these are dream cards that I thought never in a lifetime I would own. So I'm just so glad to own them. And I'm really focusing on pre-war. I love my 50s stuff and my 40s stuff and my Yogi stuff. But with this card, for instance, the Ruth, I had consolidated some things. And it sucks to see things go. But at the same time, I like doing that if I don't feel super crazy attachment to a particular set of cards. That's just the way it goes. So that's kind of what my theme of my collection has been growing. It's been going in small but quality. But I appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you to all my new subscribers. And I'll see you in the next video.